Your first challenge was the talent show.
Uh-huh.
How did that feel filming that? Because I think you were on shown on TV. It was I think you were relatively near the beginning, but is that how it actually happened?
No, I was actually, I have to say, quite off because I told them on hand, like, I was gonna be like very nervous. I've never, ever, ever performed as a drag queen before. And also, what was funny was I was picked up really early in the morning, like really early. Like I did my makeup at 4 a.m. Like, yeah, and I had to pack my bags to do everything, and I think I was being picked up at maybe like 7 or 8 a.m. or something, if I remember well. Then they let me like sit into that room without any phone or anything. Then I had to walk into the workroom. Like I had like a headache. I was so exhausted because of like all the pressure and impressions of everyone. And in the episode, they made it seem like the talent show was the next day. But what they actually made us do is take off our makeup, take like a small break, and then we had to put our makeup back on, pretend like it was the next day for the talent show. So it was a long, long day. And in the episode, they made it seem like I was in the beginning, but in reality, I was last. Like I told the production on hand, like, you guys made me come in like really early. Like I was one of the first to walk in. I had a really long day, and I'm like really nervous. Like I was really like literally about to pee my pants. I was like, I'm so nervous. Can I please go first? So in that way, I've just had it, then I can just sit back, I can relax, and then it's just, over. And they were like, no, you're last. So I was like, can we change that? Can I, do something? They were like, no, you're last. And I was like, okay. So I just had to sit there. And the funny thing is that it took such a long time to film. Like Vanessa was in that cage. They had to build the cage, break the cage. Keita had like this, like magic trick thing. They had to build it up, break it down again. Some girls, I will spare their names, but some girls had to redo their performance up to 3 times because something went wrong. And I just sat there. And to be honest, I was like, well, if they fuck up like 3 times, I'm going to be good. Because I saw literally like 2, 3 queens like having to like redo it again for like a couple of times. I was like, oh, oh. So then finally it was my turn. And I did feel supported by my queens and most of the queens of season 1. But I was so nervous. Like my whole body was so tinglish that I couldn't even feel it anymore. So people were like, oh, she looked a bit this, she looked a bit that. But the thing was, I was really so nervous. Like I've never had it before in my life. Like my body just started to tingle and I couldn't even like feel my body. It was like my body was like made out of stone, So it was really hard for me to like come forward and do my thing. But I did do it once. Like I didn't do it like 2, 3 times as some girls did. So I asked like the production, and everybody was like clapping and cheering for me. They were like, "Oh my god, you did so well!" I was like, "Thank you." I was like, "Do you guys think that I need to do like another shot?" And I feel like some girls had to do it a couple of times. I was like, "Can I redo it?" Because I'm not sure if everything went well on camera. Can I do it like one more time just to be sure? They were like, "No, we got everything. It was fine." I was like, "Okay."
Right. Okay.
So
Shade. Because
a bit shake.
I think no, because I mean, what that was what I was going to ask you was so I think you could tell you were a bit nervous, but that's kind of to be expected given that you hadn't really done anything
Yeah.
like that before. But I thought actually the song was really cool, and the idea was
Yeah.
really good, and you looked stunning, obviously.
Thank you.
So what I was always curious about was, did you do it more than once, and you were just one time, whereas everyone else had to do it 3 times to get to that level.
Yeah, and I was like, even like when judging, like they give you so much more commentary than that they show. It's like not even a minute of commentary, but in reality, like they take like good time to like critique you. And I even said like, I remember saying like, yeah, but I did it in one time. All those like experienced girls had to do it like up to a couple of times. I was like, don't you think that is like, the credit worthy? And they were just like, so I was like, all right.
So
guess I'll just go home. Bye.
So do you wish you had, I guess, done it more than once then?
Yeah, if I could have done it again, I would have done it like 5 times. Be like, make sure you choose the best one.
Yeah, and so I mean, because the thing also was they had the season 1 girls to the side, and also obviously your fellow season 2 girls behind. And during your performance, even though they showed it near the beginning, you said you did it at the end. But when you look back on it, all of the season 1 girls pretty much were like living for it. They were like cheering way more than some of the others, and they were like holding up the signs and stuff. So did you think that you were going to be like quite highly placed?
I didn't think I was going to be highly placed. Also because even in the workroom, like production will like ask you certain questions. And they were all like a bit shady questions towards me. So I could feel a little bit of, pushing towards me. It was like, sense like the energy of like me going home, simply because, certain questions that they ask, and they were like, oh, who do you guys think that should go home first? And like a person would say like, oh, I think Ivy should go home. Oh, I think, she should go home. And as soon as like somebody said like, oh, I think Juicy should go home, they were like, Juicy, how does that make you feel? And I was like, girl, it's so obvious like that I'm gonna go home. But I'm not saying that it was because I did that it wasn't like all my fault. Of course my performance wasn't the best one. It was actually one of the worst ones. But I was like, this is all a bit obvious for me. So for me, I was just like, there's a 99% chance that you're gonna be in the bottom.
Yeah, and so obviously, unfortunately, you were in the bottom. So did you agree with that in the moment, or did you think that wasn't, the right decision?
I don't know. Like when you look at the episode, like I didn't see like like right before I had to perform, I think like I made the hole in my armpit, and you could see that, it didn't look as polished as I would love it to be. Same for like my wig and everything, but giving it that it was literally my first time ever doing it, and I did it in once, I was really proud of myself. And considering some girls who were like saying that they were ready and they've been performing and they had all this experience, they had to redo it a couple of times. So it was a bit of a 50-50 for me. I was like, yeah, did I expect myself to be in the bottom? I was like, yeah, but you could like take it 2 ways. You could say like, oh, this is like, so good for you that you never did it before and you did it only once. But, they were like,
Yeah, because even the girls during Untucked, I think Reggie B and some of the others even made a point of saying like...
Het is echt, sorry dat ik dit zeg, zo fucked up aan dit spel vind, is dat wij komen hier terug en we were dying for Juicy, toch?
Ja.
Los van dat we trots op je zijn dat je dit als eerste keer hier doet.
Ja.
Dus daarom begreep ik niet zo waarom jij dat commentaar kreeg.
Yeah, and also because... what they of course didn't see is that I did it in once, and a couple of girls had to do it a couple of times, so they were like, I think she is going to be in the bottom because we've been experienced artists and we had to redo it. Like we took some missteps. I think like even somebody tripped during an act, so they were like, it's going to be rough around the edges for me, but you did it in one time with a really funny song, so we think you're going to be fine. And I was like, I don't think I'm going to be fine.
Oh, that sucks. But I mean, at least you know that you did it in one time. And for someone who's not performed before, that's amazing compared to some of the other girls.
I sometimes still think about it and I'm like, I did that.